Hi guys, I am doing for my project religion in public schools, specifically prayer in public schools and whether it should or shouldn't be allowed. Um, I am basing most of my research off of the court case Engel v. Vital, and just FYI, this is like my 10th time doing this video because I messed up a lot, so just try to bear with me here. It's kind of brutal. So in the court case Engel v. Vital, it was basically to decide whether it is constitutional for prayer to prayer to group and allowed prayer to be allowed in public schools. And the court case held that school-sponsored prayer violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. The majority in this case stated that the provision allowing students to absent themselves from this activity did not make the law constitutional because the purpose of the First Amendment was to prevent the government from interfering with religion. So basically, they ruled it that if it is mandated and required by the government to do so or by the school to do so, it is illegal. And it is illegal because they are not able to account for and like basically account for all religions in this case, and it is excluding and impeding on people's right to practice their own freedom of religion. Um, the Supreme Justice in this took an even broader view of the Establishment Clause, arguing that any type of public promotion of religion, including giving financial state aid to religious schools, violates the Establishment Clause. The dissent in this argued that the purpose of the Establishment Clause was to keep the church and state separate so that there was not one single religion like there used to be in England. Um, so basically, there can't be any promotion of any type of religion in public schools. And there's a lot of different arguments on why that should be separate. One argument is public schools exist to educate, not to educate on the basis of religion. And if religion is incorporated to an everyday routine or and prayer is incorporated to an everyday routine, a young child who is 6, 8, or 10 is probably not going to be able to differentiate the routine from that's whether it's voluntary or not. That's probably the student is probably going to see that as, oh, that's what we're supposed to be learning, that's what we're supposed to be doing, and so therefore they're not able to see it as voluntary, even if the school considers it voluntary. Also, schools aren't able to account for all religions, such as Buddhists, Jews, and Catholics, if they're only saying one prayer. That is why right now there's allowed a moment of silence, but that is still some controversy because because a person who is Muslim is not going to be able to get on the floor and do their act of praising their God, just as someone who is able to do a silent prayer. Uh, what can be done right now, is individual silent personal prayer, and that has never been outlawed in public schools. Religious music is also allowed to be played. Um, Teachers are also allowed to say Merry Christmas, and that is basically on their own choice. And schools are also allowed to have religious groups meet on school property and grounds as long as it is not during the school day. But they are not allowed to force or even strongly encourage, is what one website said, students to attend or be in such groups. There's also been proposed voluntary prayer amendments. One was proposed in 1995, and since individual silent prayer is already allowed, this amendment is basically trying to get group prayer in school allowed, which is in this case against the Constitution because it is promoting or endorsing prayer for more than one student and is not a student's own choice. Um, that's all I have right now. Thank you guys for listening, and sorry I couldn't be there at class.